welcome! I'm Ashley of The Ugly Sheep, and today we're gonna make a Frocktail outfit. So what is a Frocktail exactly? It is a cocktail party that you make your own frock or outfit. And so I technically already did start this project. I made the skirt in a previous video, and I'll put a card to that up there. I am going to make a shirt for it today, and I'm also going to make a shirt that I can wear with the skirt normally, because I will not wear the shirt for the cocktail party on a normal basis, and I want to wear the skirt frequently. So I'm going to make two shirts, hopefully, maybe, we'll see how this goes, for the skirt. One for the Frocktail party and one for everyday use. Let's go get started. So the first step is to cut out just a rough shape for this shirt, and I am cutting it on the bias because I am going to attempt to make a cowl top, but I don't think this fabric ended up being as drapey as I needed it to be to get the full effect. But I kind of just cut out a very rough shape, and then I end up kind of leveling off the bottom and doing some tweaks after I kind of pin it on and see how it's doing. Once I have the shirt part cut out, I then cut two strips to make ties for the halter part of this shirt, and they're just cut on the bias as well, although they probably would have done better to be cut on the straight of grain. But I couldn't see trying to do that after I had a whole long bias cut there that I could just cut along. This was a pretty slow process as I was kind of measuring and cutting as I went, just to try and keep the straps mostly even. Once I had the basic pieces cut out, I pinned on the top just to kind of get a basic idea for how it was going to fit and any of the adjustments that I needed to make to the actual piece before I started sewing. The first step I did was to actually make the ties for the halter. That way, as I kind of got it all sewn and hemmed, I could try it on before I made final kind of adjustments and decisions on where I wanted it to sit. I probably should have made these as more of like folded over and sewn versus tubes and sewn, especially with them being cut on the bias, because they were fiddly to try and get to turn right side out once they were sewn together. Once the straps were complete, I then sewed each side, just doing a double fold hem on both sides to encase the raw edges, because this is a polyester satin fabric, and so it does fray kind of a lot. And I did fully hem both sides, including the part of the fabric that I am keeping just hanging inside the shirt to create the cowl neck effect, just so that it didn't fray. I was a little worried that if I did not do that, that as I was wearing it, that the edges would just fray inside the shirt, and that would not be a good look. And then I, of course, double rolled the bottom part of the shirt to make a hemline. Now, this was a little tricky on the ends because instead of adding ties, I decided to just leave the triangle shape and tie what I had because there was enough to tie in the back instead of adding another piece. but the ends do look a little funny, but they will be in the back. That's not really going to be photographed at the event, and so I just decided to go with it. After I hemmed the shirt, I just attached the strings for the ties where I wanted them to complete the shirt. The second shirt is made from the leftover fabric of the skirt, and so the first thing that I had to do was cut off the part that was still a rectangle from the part that kind of had some weird shapes cut out of it. The rectangle part is what does become the shirt, and then I do take some of that rectangle and cut it down because it doesn't need to be that wide, and I make the tie straps for the second shirt out of the offcut from the shirt body that I cut out. Once I had the shirt kind of cut down to where I wanted it, I used a shirt that I like, and I traced the outline for the neckline. Now this is only tracing the back, which is going to be higher than the front. So what I did is after I cut the initial hole out, I enlarged it going farther down in the front and the back and kind of keeping the edge closest to the shoulder kind of the same. Once the shirt was cut out, I put it on just to make sure that my head fit through the hole and I was happy with where the neckline was. Because this is just a rectangle, I did a double rolled hem on all four sides of the shirt just to encase the raw edges. I probably could have brought the sides in a little bit more so that it fit closer to the body, but by keeping them a little wider, I have kind of a short sleeve dolman sleeve effect with this. I had so much fun turning the other tubes inside out that I decided to try and do it again with this shirt. It did not work, so I end up scrapping this strap and cut out another one so I still have 4. And I just fold it like bias tape, so fold the ends to the center and then fold it in half before sewing along one side to close it up. And that went so much faster. Trying to turn this inside out, I struggled with it for 45 minutes. Once I had the edges sewn together, I made a little section to go around the neck, and I sewed them right sides together and then pressed everything to the inside and trimmed I guess it would be a facing, but it's really not big enough to be a facing, and folded the facing under and then top stitched around the neckline very close to the neckline to hold everything in place, just so that it finished nice and smooth along the neckline, and I didn't have a lot of extra fabric because it's already kind of just a loose baggy shirt. I didn't want extra fabric getting bunched up. After I finished the neckline, it was time to install the ties, and that was all. Both of these shirts were fairly simple to construct because they are just basic shapes of rectangles and triangles. They don't fit as smoothly as if I had made an actual shirt to fit from a pattern, and I will probably do that soon. I just haven't gotten over my fear of doing it. now with the confidence of having my teenage daughter tell me that this shirt looks like I made it out of a shower curtain, and the other shirt being a curtain, let me know what you think down below. I plan to wear the white shirt to the Frocktail's party, and the other shirt will be more of an everyday shirt. Let me know what you think, and while you're down there, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.